Hello, darlings. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight is going to be a fun one. This is something that recently came up in the Monday Night Women's Circle that I've been hosting. Super awesome and fun, you guys. When I relaunch it, because I will, when I relaunch it, I'd love to have more of you join me. So tonight, welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. Tonight, you've got me, as always, I should say, not just tonight, but as always, you've got me here with you, Daniella of ReDesign, and tonight, we are going to be covering a topic that, again, came up in the Monday Night Women's Circle, but is something that I have been beating my head against the wall with forever. So maybe this hopefully will resonate with some of you, and hopefully where you were and not where you are. But if it does resonate with where you are, that is absolutely okay, because guess what? If I've been through it and can make it through it, you can too. So tonight we are talking about the word surrender. Now, surrender is a word that used to be a 9-letter word for me, aka a 4-letter word, just one lot was longer. And for me, it was really something very, like a personal attack. I'm trying to think of where to begin this story for y'all. So, as an indigo soul, or somebody who identifies as an indigo, now there are of course many vibration levels of soul, and all an indigo basically means is that, message. And all an indigo basically means is that you are a soul that has come in here, hey Anna, good to see you, love. You are, hey sis, you are on the vibrational spectrum just at a certain place. So indigo is in reference to the vibrational level of the color of indigo. Cool? So we'll just go with that. And one of the biggest traits of being an indigo is this, and I should say in comparison to like your crystal children and your rainbow children and all these wonderful beings that are coming in now, is that we have a really deep-rooted sense of a warrior's spirit. We're going to come in there, we're going to bust some shit up, we're going to fuck your day up, and we're going to win. We're a warrior spirit. But it has to do with fucking up the bad guy's day. And it has to do with really trying to fight for and maintain a certain level of justice, or what you would consider a certain level of justice. So just to kind of give you like a really wide berth as to some of the signifiers of indigo. So as opposed to, like I said, the crystal and rainbow, which are a little bit more easygoing already, they're already a little bit further along on the feminine spectrum, whereas indigo basically is smack dab right in the middle. So, as somebody who identifies like that, the word surrender was a 9-letter word. Never give up, never surrender. Never. And that meant in everything. Every part of life, everything. Business, relationships, you name it, okay? School back in the day, friendships even, okay? It spanned the whole gambit. So, what happens though when, oh my god, I'm so right? I know, it's crazy, right? So, basically, to my warrior spirit that I came in with, or that I came in at that certain vibrational level at, we'll say. Because of course I'd like to make sure that I do mention to you, my air conditioner's about to go off. There you go. But I'd like to make sure to mention to you that where you start, you don't have to end up. Okay? So if you're coming in and you're identifying as an indigo, or you're identifying as a certain type of soul with the label on it, right? Which, that's a whole other topic in and of itself, the label thing. But if you are identifying as a certain thing, say indigo, say empath, okay? If you are identifying with these at this particular level in your journey, that doesn't mean that at the end of your journey, you're going to still identify as that particular vibration. So don't worry about that. So basically what I'm saying is that you're not stuck with feeling this way. So surrender is a 4-letter word. To a warrior spirit, surrender is a 4-letter word. Basically, it directly translated, for me, directly translated into giving up, giving in, and failure, basically. Just straight up failure. Just, like I didn't even try. Like it wasn't even worth anything. Basically, if you gave up, like if you surrendered to anyone or anything, you gave up and you failed into it. You know, you put yourself beneath it. So this is what the word surrender used to mean for me, okay? As I've been going along my journey and my path, bumpy and rocky though it has been, as I'm sure all of you resonate with that, I have come to understand the word surrender in a completely different manner. Completely different. Again, of course, there is that never give up, never surrender. But the feeling and the vibration behind what that actually means to me has completely changed. Completely. Hey, Miss Tammy, good to see you, love. So, where before surrender meant failure, complete failure, like you just gave up, you gave in, you failed. You failed that test, whatever. You know, whatever it means. It went from being like that to coming to this realization that surrender doesn't have to mean that you are putting yourself beneath something. Let that one sink in. Surrender does not have to mean that you are putting yourself beneath something or that you have failed in comparison to. What I have been able to, through my growth process, which again, super bumpy, and again, it's not a straight line. It's so hysterical. What's that, there's this graph meme that's going around, that's, you know, a little graph, and it's like, the expectation of spiritual growth, and then the reality. Right? So that's what it's like. And that's how I kind of had to redefine what surrender actually meant. Not only what it could mean, but what it means to me. Because if we are indeed the stewards and the co-creators of every moment of our own reality, which more or less, barring interference, yada yada yada, another topic, we are. What we think and what we feel radiates out from us. That's science, folks. They've proven it at this point. Have a look. It's a wonderful read. Check into Dr. Bruce Lipton. And that's an easy name to remember, right? It's like the tea. I'm sure he gets that every day of his life. Bruce Lipton is a favorite one of mine, and Greg Braden. So check into their work because they have actually done the science behind the kinds of things that I love to share with you. And I find all of that background information infinitely interesting as well. So you may as well. So what I found on this journey is that surrender does not have to mean failure. Surrender does not have to mean putting yourself below anybody or anything. We create our reality. If indeed we do create our reality, which is my personal belief, like I said, 95% of our reality is created directly from us. Again, barring interference, codes and contracts, Akashic loops, blah, 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 blah. Another topic. Barring that, what our mind thinks and what our heart feels actually radiates out into the energy field of the world. Ooh, message. There's another one. Radiates out into the energy field of the world. Whatever that is. Whatever. The universe loves you unconditionally. Woo! I hit a nerve on that one, you guys. So let that sink in for a second. The universe loves you unconditionally. Which means that you are so unconditionally loved and supported that you are allowed to believe that you are not unconditionally loved and supported. That's how unconditionally loved and supported we all are. Mind fuck right there. I know. That one took me a while to wrap my head around, believe me. Because it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Look at all this dumb shit that's happening in my life. How on earth could the universe possibly be loving me? Right? So, these are all the things that like gnaw at you in your brain. But what really is that our brain and our heart and our thoughts and our feelings radiate out, which happens to influence, again, more thoughts and feelings, which influence the kinds of actions that we do or don't take, which influences directly what our reality looks like. So what definitions mean to you personally can be very important. Very important, if not one of the most important things. Because what one word means to somebody else, what one concept means to somebody else, if that doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't have to. You can make up your own definition. You can literally redefine your world. Let that sink in. If you want more help with that, that's what I'm here for. But point being is, I had to relearn and re-identify what it actually meant to surrender. So this is where it's coming all back. Here we go, back around. We're coming back around finally, all right? So from going from it meaning failure, essentially failure, aka ego death, aka like the most uncomfortable thing on the planet, right? One of the most uncomfortable things, non-physical uncomfortable things on the planet, to realizing that by fighting so hard to not surrender, I was actually standing in the way of my own ability to create my own reality. I know, you guys are like, what the fuck's she talking about? Get this, okay? It has now been scientifically proven. Again, check out those guys' work. Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, amazing, amazing scientists. They have done the science behind what I'm sharing with you all the time. The universe has been proven at this point, again, as we continue to redefine through scientific means what our universe actually is, and yada, yada, yada. And it says that's what I'm doing now. Excellent. They're great. I love them as a source. I work with that, all the stuff all the time. What does it say? Let's see what Tammy says. Oh, I gotta open that up. To people who constantly surround themselves with negativity, people, thoughts, and behavior will always attract the same because they allow it to happen. That's true. Those who constantly strive to see the positive in life and situations will surround themselves with good things because they look for it and work for it. Absolutely my point. Thoughts, feelings lead to the actions or inactions, in which case, aka staying where you are or leaving the people that you're with, in this case, lead to what the quality of your reality. Absolutely. 100%. So I had to redefine what surrender meant for me. Because what I came to realize is that by fighting it and by struggling and fighting against the idea of surrender, I was actually forcing myself to not get the things that I was striving for, to not surrender to. Let that be a mind screw for you, right? How many of you have gone through that, where it's like, you know, you strive and you strive and you strive and you think about it and you think about it and you think about it and you're grinding and you're grinding and you're grinding and you're grinding, and then it just doesn't happen, or it just falls apart at the last second, or it doesn't pan out the way you thought it would, and because it didn't pan out the way you had an expectation of it to. Oops, sorry, another message. Good Lord, I'm getting blown up tonight. Woo! Because it didn't meet that expectation, then you go into disappointment, and then you go into all of these things, which is further decreasing your power, which basically you're running from, or you're fighting against surrender because you believe that means failure. But in the way that we are going at it, we actually are achieving the failure. I know. It's fucked up. So what do we do about it? Right? We have to redefine what surrender means to us. And what I have discovered and what I have been practicing is, again, more of this ancient indigenous wisdom, but said in a way less sort of ambiguous, really hyper-ambiguous, really non-clear way. If indeed we are the creators of our universe, we're getting back to it, don't worry, I'm not going to lose me. I'm not going to lose me. Wow. That was a moment. I'm not going to lose you either, but I'm not going to lose me. So, if we are indeed creating our world and our reality via the energy waves, via the quantum fluid, I say fluid very loosely, because they say that the energy field that everything exists within is kind of got a fluid-like quality, as opposed to air. So, as opposed to Earth too, it's kind of like a fluid. So, in this fluid world, there is literally a stream. There's a stream of energy, in whatever direction you want to picture it going. There's a stream of energy that we are traveling through at every given moment. Not just any given moment, every given moment. So now, and now, and now, and 20 minutes from now, and tomorrow, always in the stream. What happens, though, is that we're floating along in this wonderful little stream. Oh, I got more messages. Oh, and it says me. Oh, sorry. Tammy says, allow yourself to fail because sometimes that brings the greatest lessons. Yes, in a way. You're right, in a way. Totally. I don't disagree. But in this case, I'm going to a little bit different of a point. So, you're going and you're floating along the river, and you see something you like, and you go, oh, you grab onto that. Well, what happens is that you grab onto it, and you kind of check it out, and you go and you do your thing. But then, you stay stuck to it. You get attached to it. You begin to believe that if you let go and surrender, that you are going to drown. For instance, in this metaphor. What is actually happening, though, is that by still holding on to the rock or the log or whatever it is, you're actually getting tossed and have all the water. You're basically waterboarding yourself. Okay? In the metaphor. You're waterboarding yourself. You are resisting the flow of the river. This is what we are doing when we refuse to surrender. When I talk about the word surrender, it is no longer in that sense of failure. And yes, allowing yourself to fail is a huge, huge thing. Because we are all hypochondriac perfectionists. If it's not perfect, we come up with a reason why it's wrong. And usually that reason is us, which is totally bonkers. So, you're holding on to this rock or this log, and you're basically being drowned because you are staying attached to the thing after, you're done with it. Or you're staying attached to the person, or whatever, like Tammy said. It could be a person, place, thing, whatever. But what would happen? What would happen if you let go? You were floating down the river to begin with, just fine. Doing your happy little starfish. Anybody do the starfish as a kid? Like when you were first learning to swim and first learning to float? Like you just do the starfish and you were like, yes, I am the master of water. Because you just float. So, you're floating, you're doing the little starfish day, you're doing the thing. Floating down the river. You were doing fine. You're checking out all the things. You go, ooh, that's a pretty rock. Ooh, that's a pretty tree. Ooh, look at that cute little frog over there. But at some point, we get so hung up on something, regardless of what that thing or person or whatever is, we get so hung up on it that we forget to re-surrender to the river, to re-surrender to the flow of the current, to let go, to stop gnawing on all of those thoughts and things over and over and over, re-putting our attention, forcing our attention onto something that may or may not serve us anymore, aka holding onto the rock. As the river is trying to pull you, the river is going, hey, I got some more cool shit down here for you to look at and check out and experience, but you're staying stuck. So you keep getting waterboarded. Stuff keeps hitting you in the face, and you just keep, right? This is what life, this is what happens in life when you get stuck. It feels like you're constantly being bombarded by shit, and that you're drowning. Why? Because you're staying stuck. You're staying stuck to the rock. So, surrender. When somebody did that explained that metaphor to me, I was like, oh, the whole time. I've literally been fighting the river the whole time. No wonder my life's been hard. Holy crap. And then I gave it a try. I let go. It was little things, okay? Don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. It was little things at first. You know, maybe that person isn't the best, you know, it's like maybe that person, like, you know, a friend or a guy or a girl or whoever, you know, it's like you want to have contact with them, and you keep putting yourself out there and keep putting yourself out there and keep putting yourself out there, and they never respond to you, or it takes them like 3 weeks to get back to you, as if they don't have their phone in their hand 24/7. Okay? Right? Same thing. Or you keep beating yourself up about because you got passed over for that promotion. You keep grinding on it. You keep grinding on it. You keep grinding on it. Maybe you got passed up for that promotion because there's something else better for you coming down the line. Or maybe you got passed up for that promotion because it's time for you to quit that fucking job. Hopefully, maybe that's the river trying to go, are you frustrated enough yet to get off the rock and go down the path that I have laid out already, that we have laid out? If you go into what they talk about a lot in mediumship, is that across the board, people talk about these experiences where they're in, you know, fully conscious before being birthed, going, okay, these are things that I would like to work on, you know, and so as the loving universe and all of these things, you know, let's work in co-creation together so that I can experience these experiences, so that I can experience the things that I would like to experience for my soul's, I wouldn't say entertainment, but my soul's advancement, growth, experience. Well, if you just hold on to that one thing, you're missing out on all the rest of the stuff. If you're holding on to that one thing for fear that you're never going to find something better, that was a big one for me. That was a big one for me. That's going to keep you from ever, possibly ever, finding anything better. Anything at all. No possibilities of that ever happening if you stay stuck. If we refuse to surrender. So surrendering at this point, sorry, just making sure I didn't have any more comments from you guys. So at this point, I'm starting to realize, I mean, this is, you know, several years ago. So at that point, I was starting to realize, whoa, this whole time, I have been holding on to things and grinding myself on the rock. You know, the mortar and pestle, I'm in there. That's me in there grinding my own self away, when I could just let go. When I could, with love for myself and everybody involved, as much as humanly possible, because I get it, okay, you know, even I don't love everybody all the time. Please do not get me wrong. I still got a lot of stuff to work on. But, don't we all? But the point is that when you can start to let go of those little things, like not getting that promotion, like that person not talking to you for 2 weeks, even though that you are putting yourself out there to be their friend, and you're there for them whenever they come crying to you, maybe that's a sign from the river, the energetic river, to let go. And not with malice, and not with like, oh, I told you so, or I'm just waiting for you to come crying back to me so I can be proven right, which, been through that before too. That was a hard one to get through. Letting it go, and going, you know what? I'm just going to let this go. I'm just going to surrender to the moment. Whatever happens is going to happen, and I am going to trust, and this is kind of like where the trust and faith and belief kind of thing comes in. Not religion, but trust and faith and belief. Comes into, all right, well, if the universe has unconditionally supported me as I struggle to continue to give me struggles to struggle upon, because I think life's a struggle, so what is it going to do? It's going to give me shit to struggle with. If it will support me here, why wouldn't it support me if I let go? Why wouldn't letting go actually create the space, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, create the space, the breathing room, for me to receive or bump into, as I trail down the river, right, something even better, something that suits me even more, something that really resonates truly even closer to my joy. Yes. Anna says I let go of all those friends. Yes. And I bet you feel a whole lot better for it. As painful as it might have been at the time. But the further you go down the river, you're like, oh, here are some new friends. And oh my God, they get me. And oh my God, I don't have to wait 12 days to hear back from them. They actually interact with me like I deserve to be interacted with. Yes, she does. But that's my point. So when it comes to surrender, I know for so many of you out there, because it was for me, so many of you out there, that surrender is a 4-letter word for failure. You gave up, you gave in. Never give up, never surrender. Whatever that is. Because we get latched on to the emotional attachment or the expectation of an outcome, and we feel that if we let go of that expectation or we let go of grinding on it, that either it will never come to fruition, or that other people can't be trusted to make it happen, or this, or this, or this, or this, right? What happens? How much, let me rephrase that, how much energy, how much time per day, not to mention week, month, year, do we spend grinding and re-looping? Why aren't they talking to me? Why didn't I get that promotion? How long, how much energy and time do we spend on that kind of crap? So much, right? Especially when you're in the never give up, never surrender mode. So much time, so much lost energy. So much lost energy, I can't even begin to tell you. Well, I don't even need to begin to tell you, because you know. What would happen if you actually had space? What would happen if you gave it space? What would happen if you just let go? What would happen if you surrendered to the flow of the river? What would happen if you trusted yourself as the divine creator incarnated? Not big-headed in a way, but like literally we are a piece of the divine, period. End of story. What would happen if you created space for that? What kind of miraculous things, what kind of miraculous people and experiences would there be room for in your life now if you just surrendered and let go of that other shit? Tammy says, sometimes when we get rid of the friends who are not good for us, we realize it isn't as hard as we think it will be. Abso-freaking-lutely. All day long with that junk. Now, sometimes when it's a relationship, like an intimate relationship, that can be a little harder, at least in my experience, just because we've got a lot of cords and contracts and Akashic loops and all kinds of other like soul type contracts with them for them to mirror up things to us. So it can be a little bit more painful. But nonetheless, yes, when you get to that point of letting go and surrendering to the flow, keep flowing you down the river, I should say, you create that space for something else that is more closely aligned to what you truly deserve, more closely aligned to what is your true joy, more closely aligned to your divine nature than what you were trying to hold on to, just out of safety, out of expectation. So surrender is not a 4-letter word. I know it's one of those things that is going to be probably is going to seem, I should say, like a very big, insurmountable mountain. Especially when you start looking at all the things in your life that you could be letting go of. You're like, oh dear God, that's probably like 80% of my life and my habits. Trust me, I've been there. It's okay. Baby steps, guys. Baby steps, okay? So, if you've got that one friend that just never responds back to you, like literally just can't seem to be bothered, Don't be bothered. Let it go. If got passed up at that promotion and it drives you nuts because you think you deserve it, which you probably do, let it go. Because all of that time and that energy that you would be spending grinding on it, insisting that it turn out a certain way, not surrendering, is time that you could instead be getting closer to your joy, closer to people that do respect and treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Or just closer to spending time and getting to know yourself. Because again, what is the big thing that everybody says? Know thyself. Know thyself as an eternal being. We have all, if I let go of my couch, I might get more work, more housework done, Tammy says. Girl, I know how you feel. I have got this comfy ass futon. Woo! God, I'm so glad it's not in the office. So, that is the point. Is that at some point, our warrior spirit, our need for justice, our need for an expectation to be met, fails us. Holding on to that aspect of the warrior spirit is what will eventually, if you're not there already, start to drown you. You will drown in your own fire. Ask me how I know. I'm sure all of you know too. Especially those of you with this fire. You can literally burn yourself to death by going around in circles, by having those expectations, by holding on to those old people and experiences and places and things that you expected to get a certain result out of. And because you didn't get that result, if you let it go, it's considered a surrender. It's considered a failure. Is it really? I'm here to ask you, to invite you to ask yourself. Is it really? Hey, Shada! Is it really a failure to actually let go of that stuff that's not serving you anymore and float down the river closer to either yourself, better experiences, or better people? Now that I'm floating again, I'm doing the starfish. Now that I'm floating again, I don't see how I did it any other way. Like, I can resonate and understand and tap into that angst that I remember having over all of these things. Over the terrible boyfriend, over the piss poor friend, over the, being passed up at the, the job for the third fucking time. Right? I remember those feelings associated with that. How much I burned and grinded and hated over those things. Because I wasn't getting what I expected to happen. Therefore, I couldn't let go of it until I got what I expected. But you're never going to get what you expect in that sense. So how long are we going to keep doing ourselves this disservice by holding on to that old, outdated definition of surrender, when we can instead choose, start small, start with little things in your house, like Tammy said, the couch. Maybe not that big right away, but start small. Start with that friend that doesn't talk to you for 3 weeks at a time. Just don't message them. You don't need their attention. You know whose attention you need? Yours. So check that out. Float down the river. Embrace the surrender. Because when you can, it inevitably will create more space, more energy, more perceived time, because again, time is an illusion, we're not going to get into that, for you to do and experience the things that bring you actual joy, actual excitement, instead of grinding on the expectation of what should have been. So I invite you to think on that, my loves. Chew on that. Don't chew too long. Let go. Might need... Annie says she might... Annie. Sorry. Annie is actually a nickname of mine, so that was a little Freudian slip. Anna says that she might need floaties. That's okay. You know what? Especially as women, we're super buoyant. It's true, though. Oh, yes. Let's see what Tammy says. Tammy says, I once kept the mindset that I wasn't a quitter. Yes, that's the exact same thing. I'm not a quitter. Never give up. Never surrender. Yes, I wasn't going to give up, and I wasn't going to walk away from people or situations, and it literally almost killed me. Absolutely. I thought I was stronger than the situation by staying in it, but wound up becoming stronger when I was able to walk away. Yes. All day long with that, Tammy. All day. All day long. Nail on the head. Anna says it's okay, that's what we call my grandma. Ah, synchronicity. So, check that out. Put on your floaties. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you can float. That has to do with that trust and the belief. You can float. You're built to float. You can't do anything but float. Unless you drown yourself by holding on to shit. So I invite you to think more about that. I invite you to have a look, too, if you're interested in any of that cool quantum science stuff that I love to kind of like blip in there. If you're interested in any of the background about that, please do check out Dr. Bruce Lipton, like the tea. That's the way I remember to tell people about it. Dr. Bruce Lipton, and also Dr. I don't know if he's a doctor. Shoot. Anyway, Greg Braden. He's a favorite of mine that I love to listen to his content. He has done amazing work in the field of heart-brain science, as well as, I mean, he is a degree geologist, and so and this and this and this, and all have to do with like natural, what is it, natural healing and spontaneous healing. He does all kinds of cool information on that. Bruce Lipton goes into the whole world of epigenetics and all of these wonderful things that you definitely should check out, because they are the scientific backing behind the spirituality of our world. Tammy says, we all float down here. Yes! Yes! I know it seems fucking counterintuitive. But yes, yes, we float. And it says, I was feeling down today, but you made my day. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. But really, yes, we float. Especially, again, as ladies, we float. Well, for me, me particularly, I've always floated because I've always had the hourglass figure, so I've always got the butt, and I've always got, I got floaties in the front and the back, so I'm good. That seems like a drowning prescription to me, doesn't it? Oh, God. Oh, God. But really, that's where that faith and that trust and belief in yourself and your abilities and just accepting that you are the divine. Get over yourself. That's a huge one. And it goes along with this, too. It's like, get over yourself. You're divine. Get over it. You just are. You can't not be. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. That's the end of the story. It's like, what? First time I heard that, I was like, whoa. I totally remember the first time I heard that. But really, you kind of have to get over yourself. The ego aspect of the self. Because the ego aspect, that's the one that latches onto that warrior indigo spirit and goes, never give up, never surrender, even to your own detriment. That's all ego. Or what do they call it? I'm actually going to start changing it. Instead of ego, we're going to call it a protective personality. Latch onto that one. Because, yeah, ego, people are like, ugh, ego, meh. And, yeah, it's definitely a trigger word at this point. So, protective personality. Your protective personality is the one that says never give up, never surrender. Your divine essence is the one that says, let's float, man. Yeah, let's float down the river. Just float. It's all good. Just float. And it's true. I can really now say from experience, it's true. Am I able to do it every second of every day and not grind on stuff? No, of course not. We're all still in the human suit here, down here, and we all have to, deal with the mind and deal with interference and, everything else. But in comparison to who I was 7, 8 years ago, wow, God, it's been that long. I'm a completely different person. I went back to California last Christmas, and I didn't fit in with my friends hardly anymore. At all. Because I'm not the same person that they knew. At all. So a couple of them can still jam with me, but am I going to be heartbroken over the ones that aren't floating along at the same time? Not anymore. And again, it's not a judgment call. It's not me saying that they're bad and I'm good and yay, I won. Because they will eventually. Eventually. We're here for eternity. I'm in for the long haul. I don't mean as a human. But the point being is that yes, you can let go and yes, you can float. So start with things that are small. Start letting go maybe of some of that stuff in your closets that you don't need anymore. Okay? Stop needing to feel like you have to talk to that person and interact with that person that doesn't give you any attention. All of these things are just like the very basic way. They cannot hang with the big dog. That, the ego part of me is like, yeah. Not gonna lie. But it's just a difference in vibration at this point. It is literally just a difference in vibration. I have been doing so much digging, so much crying, so much getting rid of all of my junk and my shit and this and this and this and not taking things personally anymore and just like all of this to get me here in front of you to share those times of mine so that you know that you're not alone. Because you're not. Not only are you not alone because I'm here in that sense, but you're really never, ever, ever alone. Never. We are surrounded at all times by our Invisi team, our guides, our ancestors, our past loved ones, our pets. Even the I was gonna say the infiltrators, even the influencers, right? The angsty influencers, what people usually reference with the Draco reptilians or the Greys or some kind of other ET interference influence. Wow. Even including them, and they have their own role, believe me. Even including all of this stuff. You're always surrounded. You're always supported. So when you do decide to let go, you are supported. They are your floaties. Yes, Tammy says sometimes people just don't have as much in common and that's okay. It's true. It's true. You change your vibration, you go off on your own journey, you just don't have the same things in common anymore. Doesn't make them bad, doesn't make you bad. Doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make you wrong. It just is. Which used to really bother me, but it doesn't anymore because I've been able to let go of the rock and go, oh, okay, let me just go ahead and float. So I invite you to try that on. I invite you to try and get maybe a thing or two out of your closet. To maybe if you're really grinding about your job, go on Indeed. Just check it out. Just go, ooh, what am I qualified for? Just go window shopping. Just sometimes even window shopping for jobs will open up the whole energy field to new opportunities. Trust me. It's weird. Same thing with the friends, too. If you've got those people, and those are the only people around you, begin to look into new things. There's, I can see it in my head right now, and I can't get it across. It's like a red logo. Meetup. Thank you. Meetup. Check out Meetup. That's an app. The program, software, both. And they have them in every city. They have all kinds of events that people put on, that from support groups to wine tasting, bar crawls to yoga in the park to whatever. Go out and find something that you're interested in. Go follow your joy, float down the river, and see what comes up. Because if you don't start floating, you're just going to stay stuck. And in that way you are kind of failing yourself by staying stuck. Not the surrendering bit, which is crazy, because again, the protective personality hasn't switched. So I invite you to try that on and check that out. Check out those guys that I told you about. Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, some of my favorites. Of course, Deepak, of course. God, what was another one? One other one just came to mind and I just lost it. Shoot, if I think about it, I'll mention it later. But yes, try that on. Try it on. Try and let go of some of that stuff and see what else opens up for you. Because guaranteed, by not spending that time and energy on whatever that was, you are, without failure, literally, opening up space for new stuff. So check that out. Try that on. A couple of things I do want to mention before I let you go for the night, because I have got, it's a little bit, I've been going on a little bit longer than I usually do. Because I've got one more client session tonight. There are a couple of things coming up. I am going to reopen and do relaunch the Women's Circle. So there's going to be a poll coming out, I believe, over the weekend. That's going to ask some of you ladies if you have a preference of evening, because I know that was a bumper, a stopper, and a blocker for some of you, because Monday nights just didn't work. So I'm going to be posting that up for you. So if you are interested in checking out the Women's Circle for the summer, please do. I'm going to be posting that up over the weekend. So check that out. Also, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see, but I have officially gotten my level 2 Reiki certification. Woo! Of course, I'm going to be working on my master level, but right now hey Jennifer, coming in right there at the end, love. So I have gotten my advanced Reiki practitioner. Very excited. So I can now fully administer Reiki to all and everyone. Your pets, you, everybody. Yourself, your things, your stuff. So I have got a special introductory offer going on, and you can check that out on my website, www.redesignyourlifeforever.com/Reiki, or you could just go to the main website and check out Let's Work Together, and all of my currently available options are there for you to check out. So please do check that out. If you're looking for a Reiki session, I have got introductory prices. These are not going to last, because I'm just throwing it out there just to get all of you guys in, just to get some more experience for me, and all of these things. So come on in here. I want to do some energy work on people, because not only is it fun for me, but it is revolutionary for the people that do receive the treatment. So, and I love doing that kind of stuff. This is literally my bread and butter. I've been doing energy work on people all my life, just not realizing it. How many of y'all are in that boat? So now that I've actually gone through and gotten my Reiki certification, gone through the classes, gone through this, I'm very excited to actually be able to offer that officially to you now, as well as energy clearings. We're going to be doing cutting cords and contracts, and soon I'm going to be able, I shouldn't say soon I'm going to be able, soon I'm going to be offering to do Akashic readings and clearings and stuff like that as well. Also, if y'all are loving those tarot reads that I've been pulling, I have got full hour-long or hour-and-a-half-long one-on-one sessions that are over Zoom. They are recorded so that you get those videos, so you can go back and listen to the reading whenever you want. Whoop. There's my reminder to get off this and go over there to talk to somebody on this thing over here. So if you want to check out, I've got some a summer special going on the tarot reads for the hour and the 90 minutes. So go and check those out on my website as well. Let's see, what else? So yes, that's the Women's Circle. Come get your Reiki here. Come get your tarot card reading here. There was one other thing. Oh yes, and as you may have been able to notice, I did a thing because I love henna and I love Reiki. So I did a thing where I had a joy brainchild and put them together. This is the test. Well, this is one of the tests. This is actually test number 2. I made a DIY out of it. I am bringing Free Create Fridays out of the vault, for those of you who remember Free Create Fridays from all last year. I am bringing Free Create Fridays out of the vault, and I'm going to be releasing that, I believe, this Friday. So it is a DIY how to create your own henna paste so that you can make your own completely natural, 100% all natural, no filler nastiness, how to make your own henna if you want to do it at home, if you love doing ladies' nights, or if you just like pampering yourself like I do. My toes are done too, you just can't tell. Check that out. That's going to be coming out on Friday, and I'm also going to be working on creating that Reiki henna as a product. I actually just got in. I know you can't tell, this just looks like nothing, but there are cones in here. There are henna cones in here. So I'm going to be making a fresh batch of it soon, and of course that's going to be some more information about that coming up in the group, like posts and things I will make. So if you love Reiki and you love henna and you love all natural stuff, I'm going to be making new batches of this and putting them in individual cones, and selling and giving, offering those to you as well for a very, very, very small price. And so I can see how you guys like it, so that you can host your ladies' night and things like this, pamper yourself, spa day, literally Reiki infused henna. How could you not love that? It's beauty from the inside out. I know. Don't you love that tagline? I came up with that one time when I was meditating. I was like, ooh, you guys are good. So, Tammy says, I was staring at your hands earlier. I've never had henna before. I love henna. I swear I've been Indian in another life. I swear to God. I mean, can you tell? You can't tell, can you? No, you can't tell. Ooh, hey Judith! So, yes. So all of these wonderful things are coming to you. We've got the Reiki. We got Reiki sessions. We've got tarot sessions. Both of those have introductory and or summer special pricing going on right now. So go and head over to my website, check out the Let's Work Together, and check out all of the pages for that. Also going to be releasing that DIY, this henna DIY, over this weekend, over the Friday, and going to be creating this as a product to offer to you. So if you don't want to have to bother making your own, you can get me, who's made some, to get you some. So, and, oh yeah, just by the way on that, as I'm sure I will mention in the DIY, is that these are so all natural that they literally last only a week or 2 in the fridge. That's how natural it is. You go and get the stuff out of the store, you go and you buy it from Wish, you go and you buy it from Amazon. It's coming from halfway across the world. It's full of preservatives, and God knows what kind of chemicals are in there. I actually, when I went and got, really quick note before I go, when I got my henna done recently at the Ren Fair, which is what sparked all of this madness and wonderfulness, she and I were talking, and she was telling me about all the preservatives that they put in the henna that's not in, it's not done naturally, that somebody like me or her or whoever is actually making on site like the day or 2 before. She was saying that there's stuff like chlorine and just like all kinds of stuff like that's acidic and will burn your skin. And she, and she was telling me, she's like, I'm really surprised that, you've gotten off as scot-free as you have using all of this. Because I tried them. I was like, ooh, black henna, where it's like black. And I was like, ooh, that's novel, because usually the idea with henna is that you like it to be as dark for as long as possible. So I, tried all the things, Wish, yada, yada, yada. And she was like, I'm really surprised you didn't burn yourself. Because, there have been people that have been hospitalized. Yeah, she said, oh, Anna says, yeah, some little girl got burnt from it. Yeah, that's probably exactly what she was talking about, is that somebody got hospitalized because of the chemical burns that they got from non-natural henna. From preservative, henna full of preservatives. So, in that vein, I'm going to be beginning to create my own beauty line of stuff, which is going to initially be offered only here to you in the group of Redesign Your Life Forever. Y'all are my guinea pigs. So, if you're going to be interested in that, please do let me know, and I can put you on the list for when I make a batch and let you know how much those cones would be individually, or if you'd like, you know, a handful of them, like you're going to do a bachelorette party or something like that. It is wonderful for bachelorette parties, birthday parties, girls' parties. Literally just have the girls over, draw all over one another, and then because of the nature of this, you are literally forced to sit there and do nothing for several hours. But drink wine, if that's your thing, and watch movies, if that's your thing. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a wonderful spa day thing. I love doing it any chance I get. So, if you're interested in any of that, please do let me know. And Anna says, yes, please me, and daughter would love it. Yes! I will put you on the list, Anna. So, please do check all that stuff out. Go visit Redesign Your Life Forever. Follow us on YouTube. My YouTube is blowing up. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram's blowing up. Follow us everywhere. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight and interacting. You guys have been so awesome. I have been loving sharing this with you all. So, let me know if you need anything. Let me know if there are any topics that you would like me to cover in future Wisdom Wednesdays. And keep your eyes peeled for all of this craziness that is coming your way as far as offerings. Go check out the website. Go check out those introductory prices on the Reiki sessions. Go check out the summer specials on the tarot card readings. All of that stuff. Go check it out. Yes, Anna, love and light back. Hugs. All right, I'm getting out of here. I literally have 3 minutes before I have to go talk to my night client. So I'm going to go shove something in my mouth to eat and have some of this. It's just water, I swear. And and I will see you guys next time. Thank you all so much for joining me here on Wisdom Wednesdays. Have a wonderful night. I love you all. Mwah. If I can close my dang thing.